was pretty fun. I got something at the feed store I probably shouldn't have gotten, but it wasn't a dead creature. It wasn't bones from something dead, which tends to make my beloved Chips a little cranky when I bring those kinds of things inside the house. So at least I get points for that. But I'll show you guys my little treasure that I snagged once we get home. But I'm feeling a lot better. I live in a beautiful town and it's really nice. I have not walked around downtown and just been able to do some random like window shopping and concert listening to like ever, actually. This is cool. So this is another one of the little free libraries where you can come over and just take any of the books. Ooh, garden hints. The expert book of garden hints. Oh, that would actually be relevant to my interest. But you can pop over and you can snag. Is this a Chinese book on? I don't know. I think, is this really a Chinese book? I'm gonna snag it and I'm gonna put it down inside of Chips's office. I think this is Chinese. It doesn't look like it has any kanji or katakana in it. I meant hiragana or katakana. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'm gonna grab that for him. That's so funny to just find like a Chinese book in there. And this one also comes included with a little fairy stair, so the fairies can climb up into their fairy garden. You see Tinkerbell over here? That's adorable. So, T-minus 5 days until my Chips comes home, and I'm actually feeling a lot better. I still remember he held my hand like while we waited in line for the bus, and I leaned against him, and then he gave me several kisses before I left, and I watched him get on the bus, and he's just going to go visit his family in North Carolina. I teased him that they'll probably go eat at the restaurant we always ate at, a delicious Thai food restaurant, and the guy who was there would always see us, and we ate there pretty often with his family, and he would always be like, oh, I'll see you next week, and I teased him that he's going back so soon after we moved up here that the man's not even going to know that we moved away. So he's going to have a really great time, and I'm really happy for him, and it's just going to be a little bit quiet here. And before he left in the morning, I was really kind of like, oh, I'm gonna miss him so much, and I am gonna miss him. And it's just like when you're really in love with your best friend, it's all those things that kind of catch you off guard, like the smell of his hair. Doesn't that sound so weird? But anyone who's been with someone for so long knows what I mean when you like lay your head against them and you can just like smell them, and it's not a weird thing. It's just like, oh, that's home. Like, that's the feeling it is. I'm gonna miss that, and I'm gonna miss being able just to call out to him about all of the birds that come to my bird feeder. I saw the chickadee over here at my bird feeder, my window bird feeder, when I came over a minute ago, so I will have some guests, but I thought, oh. We have guests right now. Look at him. That is so much fun. But I thought I would be a lot more mopey about it. But actually, I walked in the house and our home is so nice. This is the nicest home I've ever lived in, and it's built with so much love. And I'm looking around my office at all of the gifts that have been sent to me through snail mail, and I'm looking around at all of the things that my family has sent to me. I'm wearing the bracelet that I got from my dad, and here's the bouquet of flowers that Chips and I got from market yesterday. There go the chickadees. Yes! I finally have birds figuring out that they can be here. I have got birds over there singing at me too. You know, and I've got my birds, and I am going to miss him, but it's not like the end of the world, and I'm not trying to be dramatic about it. It's just surreal when you're on your own for the first time after having moved to a new place, and your person who's normally there with you is gone. And you kind of have to ask yourself, like, am I okay with this, or am I going to be okay? And the answer is yes. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to be a baby. It's just feeling it in a different way. It's just feeling the sense of what it means to be me by myself in a new place. And that's important. And I'm really excited. And it's something I intend to do some more when I go to visit downtown and look at shops that I know he would never look at. Which, by the way, I totally did. There was a concert playing, so I actually walked over and listened to a concert that was playing. Ann Arbor always has some sort of concert going in the streets. It's really cool. So I went and listened to that for a little while and saw lots of people walking their dogs next to the concert. And then I popped into a bead shop and I totally fell in love. Did you guys see all of that awesomeness? There were cute little fairy foods and there were so many beads. And I thought the beads and the jewelry were kind of interesting because clearly I like unique kind of jewelry, but a lot of mine tends to be like nature based. Like these are soap nuts, which are a special nut that you can get from Africa, and you actually throw them inside of your washing machine and they clean your clothes for you. They're like an alternative to laundry soap. So I got these when I bought the soap nuts and was supporting it was like all women from a village who had started the initiative, and I think they took off for a little while. It's been years and years and years since I got these, but you got these earrings for buying some of their first soap nut packages that they sold, so that was really fun. But I popped into the bead shop and I saw all of the little beads, and then I saw the gemstones. I got really excited, and I know I don't talk about it very often, but clearly I collect gemstones, and I collect some pretty unique ones. My celestite is over by the ammonite shell, or excuse me, over by the nautilus shell, way over there, where I keep all of the gifts from my family. And then I've got all sorts of pieces over here. Oh my goodness. And they all have different meanings and properties. I've got amethyst chunks all over the place. There's some rose quartz. Over here is a whole bunch of fluorite for creativity. There's a whole bunch of stones, like these little ones right here, these two little pink ones. I forget what they are, but they are supposed to, like in quotation marks, help with having confidence to speak your heart. And I remember I got this tiny, tiny, tiny little stone. This is the one that's supposed to do it. This tiny, tiny stone a long time ago with my mom when we went to a gemstone shop, and it was supposed to help you have confidence to speak your heart. And I was at a really sad, depressed place in my life, so I snagged it and I would carry it around in my pocket even though I was worried about losing it, and rub it whenever I needed to feel like I had a little bit of extra confidence. And I'm not going to say anything about the mythical properties of gemstones as a scientist, cough cough, but I will say that there's a lot to be said for having talismans and physical talismans. That's why I wear jewelry from my family. That's why I have so many things around me to be physical representations of ideas I have. Like I have my jar of stones that has all of my stones to represent the different amount of debt that I have, so I can look at it and I can go, you probably shouldn't buy that fancy thing from the bead shop, Seri, because you've got to pay off your loans. Look at all those stones over there, and each stone represents $100. There's a lot of stones in that jar to pay off my student loans, and just physical tokens, physical talismans like that help me to kind of keep focused. But yeah, I did spend some money at the bead shop because I saw this. I wandered around her shop for nearly an hour, you guys, so I felt like I needed to get something. And then on the very back wall, tucked in the corner, next to all those amazing gemstones and ostrich shell beads and snake vertebrae. I'm so excited. I want to go back and get like a little tiny snake vertebrae. I think if it's just a tiny, one little small one, then Chips will be willing to overlook it. And maybe I could even get that little like fairy teapot. I want to get that fairy pumpkin teapot, and like I could hide it in there if I had to, so he wouldn't be all grossed out by it. A lot of you guys want me to start a fairy garden too, which I think is kind of cool, so we'll talk about that more later. But I saw this. This is fossilized coral. And so this is a pendant for fossilized coral. And I like fossil pieces and I like nature pieces. I like wearing woods. I like wearing stones. I like wearing gemstones. I don't like the big giant, I used to have those big giant slices of like agate that you would wear, but that's not my style anymore. I've really kind of gotten much more simplistic or much more meaningful with my jewelry. And again, jewelry sounds so weird, but for me, it's more about the physical talismans of what they represent. Be it a moment when I was out at Bald Head Island, like my sea glass earrings I have, or gifts from my parents, or gifts from my family, or alternative ways to be able to use your resources and save the world, like soap nuts. And I just really liked this guy because I saw it. And I thought, you know what? That's really, really, really cool. That's not only really cool, but it made me think about Abzu. Isn't that weird? It made me think about Abzu, and somehow, because of its spiral shapes, because of the way that coral grows as a community, and it grows year after year after year, time goes on, and the pieces slowly build up. The exoskeletons layer on top of one another. And so coral pieces really are kind of representative of the heritage, like the legacy of an entire community of these tiny, tiny, almost microscopic living organisms that just leave their legacy, their exoskeleton behind, and then the next group built on top of them. I think that's really poetic and really amazing. And I also have really loved Abzu, and somehow just the shape of it and the thought of it being a community that built up slowly, slowly, slowly over time made me think about what I do. So you see how suddenly, as soon as that thought hit me of, that kind of makes me think about what I do and how I create content, how I create things. Then I was damned and I ended up with this coral necklace, and it actually is really cool. So I'm probably going to start wearing it because it's structured and organized and makes me think about having a more peaceful approach to being structured and organized with what I do and getting things done. So I'm actually going to get some rest because it's time to get some things done. I need to record a lot of things. Though Chips did ask me, he gave me a kiss and he was like, don't stay inside and record for 24 hours a day, please. So I'm going to try not to do that. I kind of want to go blackberry picking tomorrow at the little like free garden that is over by the park that we live next to. So we might go blackberry picking tomorrow, you guys. That would be a really fun activity to share with you. But for now, I actually have a heat headache from being out in the heat too much. So I need to go scarf down some water. And I'm going to nibble a tiny bit of this magic bar. Look at that deliciousness. It has graham cracker crust on the bottom. And basically they're called magic bars at the lunchroom. My grandma used to make these things where it has like almost caramelized coconut on top. She used to make those things all the time for us when I was younger, and they're my favorite dessert ever. So I'm going to have just a tiny bit of that. I'm going to drink water like a fish, and I'm going to relax before it's time to do all sorts of work. And remember that even if my Chips is gone, you guys aren't. And we've got a big, wonderful community that I can turn to when I'm feeling a little bit lonely. And that's what I'm here for you guys too. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.